Well, good morning, Christ Fellowship. This is our fourth and final little study on eternal rewards. Um, if you want to find out more about eternal rewards, you can always acquire a copy of The Preacher's Payday by yours truly. The best part of this book is the foreword by John MacArthur. Make sure you read that. What I wanted to talk about today was what is the nature of the rewards. So we spoke about how not everybody is equal in heaven. We looked at the passages over the past few days that showed that we are judged on our faithfulness to invest in the kingdom in this life. And it's not a judgment for our souls or salvation. It's merely a reward ceremony. But what are the rewards? Now, perhaps you've heard people talk about getting crowns. You know, the rewards are more jewels in your crowns. Well, yes and no. That comes from various passages. Let me just, there's a list here in chapter 2. Paul talks about striving for the imperishable wreath in 1 Corinthians chapter 9:25, and looking forward to the crown of righteousness, 2 Timothy 4:8. In the book of James, James mentions the crown of life, James 1, verse 12. Peter mentions the unfading crown of glory, 1 Peter 5:4. And there's other passages that talk about wreaths and crowns. And so people have thought of the reward that we get as being a literal headdress that you put on. There's, of course, the casting crowns passage, the famous passage in Revelation 4, verse 10 and 11, where the 24 elders cast their crowns before the throne, saying, "Worthy are you, O Lord and God, to receive honor and glory." So some people have thought, well, it doesn't matter what your reward is because you're just going to take off your crown and cast it before the Lord's feet anyway, and we'll all be equal after that. Well, no. What is a crown? A crown is a symbol of authority. The crown itself isn't the reward. It's what the crown represents. We have chains for our mayors, right? I'm not sure exactly if that actually happens still in America, but in South Africa they do. The mayor of a city will be given a golden chain to wear, like a big thing around their neck. Well, they don't wear it all the time. They take it off, but when they take it off, they're not resigning their office. It still represents the authority that comes with the office. In the same way, the Queen of England, I mean, I've never actually seen her wear her crown, but I know that it's there. She has a crown. When she takes her crown off and puts it down, she doesn't stop being the queen. In the same way, our crowns that we get in heaven just represent spheres of responsibility that the Lord gives us. You might say spheres of authority. And you might cast down your crown as a symbol of humility, as the 24 elders did. But you still have work to do. You still have a job to do. Now, the spheres of responsibility, we see hints of that in various passages like the parables. What are the rewards for the parable of the talents and the parable of the minas, where people are investing as their master wanted them to invest, and they get more reward than those that did not invest as well. And what are the rewards? I will put you in charge of 5 cities. I will put you in charge of 10 cities. That concept of being in charge of something. The family business is to rule and to reign. That's the family business. God is king, and he rules and reigns his universe. And those of us that are in the kingdom, those of us that are believers, we will be ruling and reigning with him. The book of Revelation tells us that as well, that in the resurrection, we will rule and reign with Christ. And so we get to be part of the family business. We get to inherit that. And yes, there may be a physical crown that represents that. I doubt that you'll wear it a lot if you have it, but you will be given work to do for the kingdom. And what work will you be given and how much responsibility? Well, that depends on how much responsibility you take in this life and what you do with your stewardship. Some have been given great responsibility, great stewardship, great talents. What do they do with those talents? Others have been given just very little, but they do very much with those. That's why some who are first now will be lost in heaven. And some who are considered lost now because they're given such a small stewardship, maybe they can barely read and write. But what did they do with what they've been given? compared to those that have written many books and are very learned, but maybe there's even more that they should be doing for the kingdom. The Lord sorts all of that out on Judgment Day at the Bema Seat of Christ. What a wonderful thing to look forward to, that we not only get to serve Him in this life, but that we will get to serve Him for all eternity. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed that. If you want to read more, you can read either this little book, or you can read more of the Bible. Tune in again next week for the next series of devotions.